campaigners opposed to moving 77 adults with intellectual disabilities from a centre at Beaufort in County Kerry to dispersed housing in the community have called on Disabilities Minister Finian McGrath to come to the centre to meet with them. At a public meeting in Killorglin last night, parents and relatives of residents at the centre vowed to fight plans to close it. Our Southern editor Pascal Sheehy reports.
Last night was a big night in the Champions League.
Will I let them in? That's the top 2 rows are reserved. So from there back.
But the TV offering of Manchester City versus Barcelona was down 300 to 400 viewers in Kerry as the community met for a very different contest.
Good evening everybody, and thank you all very much for turning up. It's great to see such a large
The CYMS Hall in Killorglin was full to overflowing for a public meeting about a proposal to move adults with intellectual disabilities from the St Mary of the Angels complex in Beaufort to dispersed housing in the community.
This whole situation, I suppose, came about because of the 2011 Time to Move On document. It's called a policy by the HSE, which is a blanket policy.
Breaking up so-called congregated settings where 10 or more people live together and integrating them into the community instead is now national policy. But it's a subject that has gnawed at the public consciousness in Kerry for weeks.
How are you doing? My name is Tom Battles. I have a son, Michael, who's been living in Beaufort for the last 7 years.
St Mary of the Angels is located at the foot of the McGillicuddy Reeks. Parts of the complex have been the subject of critical reports by HICWA, yet Tom Battles' praise for staff there was echoed repeatedly at last night's public meeting.
All I see in his face is happiness. I mean, music and happiness and the love and the care that the staff give him. I mean, you don't get staff in Mary of the Angels. I mean, they're the bestest out there, like. And you have to have love in your heart to mind children with disabilities, and they have love in their heart.
The Minister responsible for disability, Finian McGrath, has said the aim is to move residents from St Mary of the Angels and integrate them into the community, and over time the campus in Beaufort will close. But the message was sent back to the Minister last night that Kerry will oppose his plans.
Hi, my name is Trina Fitzpatrick and my brother Bernard is 40 years old and he's been living in St Mary of the Angels for the last 35 years. We're extremely upset, and like that lady said, we absolutely do not agree that St Mary of the Angels is a congregated setting. So what is St Mary of the Angels? As we know, it's the most beautiful campus, landscape gardens where everybody can walk, cycle, go in their wheelchair freely and safely.
My name is Jerry Bambury. I come from Kenmare. I have a son, Thomas, in St Mary of the Angels with 24 years. Our politicians, our local politicians here, and the people of Kerry will not allow it to happen. We will fight this to the
end. My name is Jean O'Sullivan and I live just outside Kenmare on the Tuesday side. And my biggest worry, I suppose, as a special needs parent and with my 2 boys is what's going to happen when I'm not around anymore. And I'll plead with the Minister, if I have to walk barefoot from here to Dublin, if I have to whatever, chain myself to the gates and beg him to leave this beautiful facility in place, leave it there for parents like me that have, and for everyone in this room. We need St Mary of the Angels.
Jack Fitzpatrick, whose son Bernard has lived at St Mary of the Angels for the past 35 years, chairs the committee of parents and relatives of residents there. He says their campaign will continue until they get a commitment that the centre at Beaufort will remain open.
We are relentless. We will not give up, and we will be still at this the day of the next election is called, and during the next election, and after the next election, if we have to be. We will never give up on St Mary of the Angels. Never.
It was Jack Fitzpatrick ending that report from Pascal Sheehy.